So, I'll be doing some quests. I don't think I need to explain how questing works. You can figure that out and enjoy that on your own. And I'll probably cut the video to when more interesting stuff is happening, or when I want to explain more of the commands, for example. But for now, let's get to questing.
Hey, citizen. You look like a stout one. We guards are spread a little thin out here, and I could use your help.
While we're killing stuff, I should mention that the KTM add-on, which is an add-on which shows you the threat that you generate and the one that your companions generate as well, and everybody else in the group who also has the add-on, is pretty damn useful. And especially later on when you get into dungeons, and even more so when you start doing raids. Okay, so you can see it. You can see the fact that it says bot and Flynn. So that's how all the companions in the group will be marked as bot. And you'll be whatever your name is, right? Okay, so it's pretty... it's a pretty neat way to keep track of who's on top of the threat list. More important to know this when you have a tank in the group, so you know not to draw too much aggro and let him do his thing. Yeah, thought you might like to know. Also, I suppose for the most part, it's not like you need to babysit the companions too much. At least for these low levels, like it said in the beginner quest, you can just right click on the monsters and the companions together with you are more than enough to handle all the stuff. Hey, look at that, everybody. We just got ourselves a small blue pouch. How about that? Isn't that neat? It's always nice lucking into getting these early. You can never have enough bag space now, can you? Alright, here's a super pro tip for you, everybody. We are now level 4, so we can learn some new abilities. Your companions can as well. If you talk to a trainer, any trainer, I know I'm just that flexible with you, then they will also learn their new spells.
I don't think you want to learn anything I can teach. I want to find an adventurer trainer to help you out.
So you can see in the chat, Flynn says, I have learned 2 new spells. Okay, so now he will start using those 2 new spells. Yeah, I made it very easy. You can just talk to any trainer, even your own trainer. It doesn't have to be a priest trainer or anything like that. Yeah, just because not a lot of people bothered going all the way to their own class trainers, even though it's a little bit maybe unimmersive, but the immersive way no one was using. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Maybe you should go back to immersive way instead of the nice and easy and flexible way. And look at that, everybody. We just got another small pouch. Hell yeah. Yeah, I like space. Give him more, game. So generous. I like it. Let's see what's inside this chest. I'm gonna let the priest deal with that one. Fine, I'll help a little bit. We have room to probably pick up everything. Ah, oh, come on, not even a good thing. Oh well, next time. And another one bites the dust. Alright, that should pretty much take care of all the quests. in Northshire. We'll be making our way out. Alright, well, now that we're done with the starting zone, we are going to make our way to Ironforge actually, because what I would like to do is pick up a special custom quest that awards us a mining pick, and that mining pick is upgradable. Hello, cat lady. Definitely not crazy. Wow, those little kittens are expensive. Can we kill level 6 dudes? Probably. The idea is to go pick up some professions, gathering professions, and to go pick up the mining axe, and maybe we'll do some quests in Dunmorrow. Maybe we'll turn back here. I don't know. Or maybe, so I'm not sure we can get to the elves at the moment. We might get killed along the way, so we could do it later. But for now, let's go to Ironforge. Alright everyone, actually before we go to Ironforge, let's take a quick stop here by Sawyer Goodman, man! And finish off the basics here, which will give us a Scroll of Spirit. We much appreciate it. And a whole bunch of experience as well. Lead by example, cooking. You know what, let's, so I think we do need level 10 for basics too. Yeah, alright, that's true. Let's pick up the next quest line, which is lead by example. It asks you to craft a bunch of stuff like herb baked egg, so just go pick up cooking, make one of those, shouldn't be too hard. And then it's going to tell you to consume it, because once you do, you also share it with the companions. Very good deal. Let's do it. And also a whole lot of bunch of spirit scrolls. Much obliged. Okay, let's get to it. Chop chop. Pick up a bunch of more professions along the way. Herbing, cooking, mining, skinning, all the good stuff. We're gonna make a lot of moolah. We're gonna sell it on the auction house. That's right, you heard me. Alright everyone, now that we're in Ironforge, speak with the mining trainer guy. Get your mining skills up. And now when you talk to him again, he'll have this new quest called Mining Apprenticeship. And this one asks you to gather 100 ore vein samples by mining. All you gotta do is just mine, like anything. Just do the mining thing, and you'll upgrade your pickaxe. So miners need the mining pick for digging, increased mining speed. Sounds good to me. All I gotta do is just play the game. He doesn't sell me a mining pick, but this guy will.
If you ask me, there's no greater profession than a miner.
There you go.
And if you ask me, there's no greater miner than a dwarf.
Alright, Mr. Dwarf. So, we will need to just mine anything you want, and you'll get these ore vein samples. You also need to turn in your normal mining pick, and you'll get the upgraded one, which will increase our mining speed. Cool. So, we got everything we need. Maybe we still need a skinning knife though. But apart from that, we're good to go. I learned herbalism, I learned mining. By the way, you can track both of them. So you can track both minerals and herbs. In the chat, it will let you know. By default, without even you doing anything, you should be able to track both. But in the chat, it will say that mineral tracking is enabled and herb tracking is enabled. So you can see both of them on the minimap. Pretty cool. So I have to switch between one or the other. Now, if only I knew where to get a bloody skinning knife. That'd be amazing. I'll figure it out. Alright, welcome back, you beautiful bastards. I went to sleep and now we are back. Now,
Fill your tankard and pull up a chair. We've stories to tell and kegs to empty.
alrighty, mate. Cool. I would really like for TBC to move the hiring of the NPCs at the actual innkeeper instead of some side character over here. But that's beside the point.
Well met.
Alright, so when hiring a companion, what I would like to say is that as much as possible, I would like to hire them with the cost reduction. Now, we're not exactly that poor. The cost for hiring is backloaded, so the more companions you have, the higher the cost will become. The first companion should be rather cheap, and it is. I mean, 5 copper is any piece of meat you pick up and sell. I don't particularly care what companions you can play with. I would recommend, however, if you want to know a more specialized opinion, to play with the sort of companions that can both heal and DPS at the same time. So things like Paladin would be a good choice. We use the Priest as well. And maybe some Druid that we don't have access to. Well, actually, Druids don't heal that much. A Shaman type of deal. And what you can do, for example, you can take a Priest and you can set them to heal, and then if you are not particularly happy with them, well, let's pick up a Paladin, say. Now, in terms of Paladin, well, just to make my point, right? In terms of Paladin, it doesn't particularly matter what role you choose at low level. At higher level, it does matter. All the companions get summoned or hired with randomized gear. At low levels, it's not a big deal, but later on, this randomized gear is also tailored or is specialized for whatever role and class they use and all sorts of different things. For example, a warrior tank would choose items with more stamina and more defensive stats like plus defense, block chance, parry, dodge, that sort of thing. A DPS warrior would choose stats with critical chance, hit chance, that sort of thing. Also prioritizing strength and agility. So there's a difference there in when you hire them. Now, again, it doesn't matter at low level. Let's pick melee DPS. Now it's asking me a thing that we will not see at any of the, well, too many of the other classes, which is a specialization. Now, in the case of the Paladin, you have a choice between Might and Magic. What's the difference? Might, you can think of them built like a melee warrior. So strength, agility, critical chance, hit chance, physical damage. Magic, they're built with intellect, spell power, casting stats, that sort of thing. And it does actually make a difference in the logic as well. Whereas the Might guy will mostly just focus on dealing damage and that sort of thing. The Magic guy actually deals, well, he does, the rotation is very similar, except for the fact that the Magic guy, because he builds with intellect, strength and intellect, he'll have a higher mana pool, and as a result, I am making him do more off-healing, that sort of thing, and that may matter to you. Because he has spell power, his consecration will also deal more AoE damage, so that could matter depending on what you do. It really depends. In my experience, the Might Paladins or the physical damage Paladins are rather better, let's say, at PvP, though that's not particularly important in this situation when you're leveling. And they're also good at burst damage. They're not so good, though, in AoE situations or in more tough situations where you might need an off-heal. And later on, when we start getting into dungeons, we'll talk more about off-healing because it's very good and it's something you should consider. Right now, the difficulty of the content is rather low, so we don't particularly need any off-healing or special poops. We will not be fighting too many enemies at the same time, even though we maybe should. And also the Paladins don't have consecration until level 20, so there's not really much point in picking a magic one. I mean, it doesn't matter it will not hinder you, right? It will not stop you whichever you go for. At least at low level, the choice is not that impactful. I'm going to finalize here. I don't care what race. I mean, they use the companions are scripted to use their... Hey Ashblade, looks like we're ready as polar bears in swimsuits to tackle this snow adventure. Let's buy some trogs and maybe snag a pint at the tavern after. I made some changes to ChatGPT. Probably by tomorrow I'll have some more of them, just to make them a little bit more active and for them to say a few more lines. Hey there. And you can talk to them in say chat. Hey there, how's it going? Can we do this? Are you ready? Okay, so he'll read the chat and then he will leave another message. Hey Ashblade, it's going splendidly. Thanks for asking. I'm ready as a griffin on a tailwind. Let's dive into this and show those trogs who the real heroes are. Lead the way, my friend. Awesome. I like the enthusiasm. Thank you, Randall. So, we hired a Might Paladin. If we look at his gear, as I promised, it doesn't matter because he gets whatever poopy random ass gear that he can get his hands on at this level. Now, I don't really want to go into too much detail about the randomizer specifics. I talk more about the randomizer in my TBC dev videos where I explain more of that stuff. For now, what are we doing? I think we're
tankard and pull up a chair. We've stories to tell and kegs to empty.
I think maybe the game volume is a little bit too loud. I cannot hear my thoughts when these guys are speaking, even though I do appreciate them. Either way, I'm gonna go pick up all these quests around here and I'll probably cut the video so it doesn't get too long. And next time I gotta say some, I'll let you know. You'll know about it. Hey, look at this everybody. We got ourselves another pouch. That's our third one. And it comes at the perfect time. We're not far away from leveling up as well. And the cool part is that when you level up, your companions are supposed to congratulate you, but maybe that's in the next update. I have messed with the some of the settings and stuff, so this should have happened, which I guess we'll see next time. But nonetheless, they were supposed to leave a nice congratulatory, I don't know if that's a word, message. But actually, hold on. I think what happened is that he yelled about incoming enemies. He yelled about the incoming enemies, and I think that may have prone him to not give the congratulation message. Maybe he was on cooldown. I may need to look a little bit more into this. It's pretty important to get a GG when you level up, don't you think so? I sure do. Makes things a little bit more old school. Oh my god. And we got ourselves yet another small pouch. Do we still have room? I think we have room for one more. There you go, everybody. Now we got 4 pouches. Let's order them. There you go. I dropped off some bear here that I skinned and his body disappeared. And we got incredibly lucky. Usually that doesn't happen, but there you go. I think I'm gonna need all the backspace I can possibly get, just because I plan to do all the professions. The cool part about the companions is that if you use certain consumables, they will do so as well. And I'll show you later when I actually have something to show you.
What can I get for you today?
But I have finished some of the quests. I think I'll loop around this zone and maybe do some of those there. Like I told you before, it may be a good idea for you to plan ahead where you are doing your questy poops. Well, just as a general strategy for leveling, it's a good idea to clear out the starting zones just to build enough XP to advance to next zones. But I would highly recommend considering that if you want, say, any kind of dwarf race companions, then you might want to start through these zones. However, one important mention is that Gnomragan, or gnomes in general, they don't have that many quests which grant them reputation. I mean, they have some zones later on, and again, I say that, well, you'll have to plan ahead. But actually not for quite a while. I think they have something in Stone Talon Mountains type of deal, but that's a little bit later, so I'm not really that familiar with them. I mean, they're not that many. Okay, so if you really want gnome reputation for some L reason, then what you can do is you can start, even if you start from a different race, though it's easier for humans because it's easy to get here. But you can do some of these starting zone areas. Yeah, some of the quests in the starting zone area for the dwarf, and which also coincides with the gnome. And by the time you're done with it, you're done with all the quests in the starting zone and this intermediary zone, you should have probably enough for friendly with gnome, if I remember correctly. And you'll also have Ironforge reputation, something like friendly, as I do now. Now again, I had a level 20 character already where I did exactly what I'm showing you in this video. That's why my reputations look like this. But this is what I would recommend. You should really start to consider what sort of classes that you want and what sort of reputations. For example, if you start as a gnome, gnomes don't get access to healers, right? So if you're a gnome yourself, you cannot hire healers. But if you finish all the zones, right, all the quests in this zone, in these two zones, then you'll become friendly with Ironforge, which will gain you access to dwarf priests. And that's it. And to clear these zones, you definitely don't need any healer. I mean, I hired just a melee DPS guy, and he's already doing much more damage than I am, like 3 times more or something. So he's definitely a badass. Basically, he's just carrying me right now. Well, mainly just because he has a 2-handed weapon. So they randomized with a bunch of gear. I mean, he has a level 5 2-handed green weapon, bro, that has 70 PS. I mean, shit. We're not even in the same zone. I mean, we're really far apart in terms of DPS. All his other gear doesn't matter, but just this weapon is extraordinarily good. I wish I had this. So, yeah, that's it about reputations. I would like to point to the fact again that on this server you can double track both herbalism and mining. And as you can see from the minimap, I have a whole bunch of yellow dots. You can see the copper vein over there, and there's some silver leaf and who knows what else around here. So that's pretty cool. If you're gonna look at the chat when you select these, because by toggling them, you actually turn them on and off. So you can actually choose one or the other. It's a little bit wonky, so it doesn't seem obvious by just selecting them. But just look at the chat because it will tell you which one is being currently tracked. By default, both of them should track for you, even if you don't do anything. But I would recommend that you just toggle them and you look at the chat and just making sure that you actually do have them tracked and all. Pretty cool, nice quality of life, especially for people who like to gather luck like I do. I like to pick up all the stuffy poops because we're gonna use everything. Absolutely gonna use, we're gonna craft, we're gonna do alchemy, most importantly, definitely enchanting, all the juice. Absolutely not gonna spare any expense, probably going to go broke just by doing professions. And as you can see, I'm also getting these ore vein samples, which look like, well, I was a little bit lazy, let's say, and I didn't choose any better icon than the actual mining pick. I apologize for that. I should have done better, but, you know, I did this change or this implementation rather in a hurry. Didn't spend too much time on it. But yeah, as you're normally picking any mines, you'll get these ore vein samples. You don't have to do anything special other than play the game, get the mines, and Bob's your uncle. While you are mining and herbalism and whatever, you can actually right-click enemies and send your companions to attack them, okay? So you're killing the enemies, you're getting the XP, and you're also doing the gathering. And if, you know, while you're gathering, you cannot right-click them because you're busy on that action. So you can pull out your control panel, you can press the mini UI so it's not too big, and just start on whichever monster. And the companion will take care of it while you're doing this other thing, which is a great thing to exercise doing more. If you make yourself a macro so you can just press one button instead of bringing up the panel and poopy sense, that's even better for you. I don't think you can... Oh, you can even herb while in combat. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely pick up all the herbs, and I'm skinning everything as well. And I'm mining everything, skinning everything. Peace blooms are awesome, and somehow peace blooms grow both in snowy areas as well as green areas. I don't know. I mean, they're magical. They're truly, truly magical. Someone said in guild chat that they grow in areas where there is peace. And I really love that answer. That's a primal answer. Alright, I won't bore you with picking up all the poopy sense. I'm sure you're more than accustomed to doing that yourself. Oh my god, I just got killed by Timber. It was some random rare mob I've never seen before. He was patrolling around this little island on this frozen lake. Totally kicked our asses, dude. Yep. I even used a healing potion that I had. Still kicked our asses. It was not pleasant. I mean, the guy is level 10. Shit. Yep. Too much to handle. So you remember at the start of the video I told you that you can turn off XP spirit experience if you don't want spirit to act like an XP boost. You can speak with a spirit healer and you can say shackle my spirit, and that will disable all the spirit bonuses. I don't want to do that. Maybe actually, you know what? Let's revive here. Cool. So the best part being low level and dying is that you don't suffer any resurrection sickness, and when you revive yourself, so if the companion was dead, he'll revive along with you, so that's great. Okay, one thing that I should recommend to you is that if you are also trying to do all the professions or just professions in general, you should make yourself a second account where you just create a bunch of characters that will just act as storage for you. I have one such account myself. I named all the characters like Leather Bank, Stone Bank, Gem Bank, Food Bank, whatever bank, right? So I just have an account just full of 10 characters that will act as my storage. So when I get close to a mailbox, and on the server the mailbox will send items instantly back and forth characters, you can just yeah, trade it to your alts, and when you need something, you know, if you have them organized on each character, when you need something, you know where to go very quickly to get the material that you need for what you're doing. So that would be one pretty cool recommendation. You can have any number of accounts on the server. It's free to play, so nothing. You basically have as much storage as you want. Alright, another pro tip that I can give you is that you get some scrolls of spirit, as you've seen from the basic quest, and if you do lead by example, for example, you also get more scrolls of spirit, which is great. You also can cook, if you get the recipe and you know cooking, certain food that gives you not just stamina but also spirit. And this gives you 2 spirit in this case, okay? And with this 3 spirit over here, that should make 5. That's 5% XP. But keep in mind that Spirit, once again, only increases experience you gain from defeating monsters, so not by doing quests. Extra little bit of something, why not? There's no need to sleep on them, just use them when you have them. Which, I guess I should take my own advice on this one, really. Oh boy. Yeah, I knew this was a bad pull, yet I wanted to see if we can do it anyway. Well, we couldn't do it. We killed 2 or 3 of them, but many casters, much WoW. It would be nice if I can find myself a ranged weapon anytime soon, so we don't have to go through this sort of thing again. But oh my lord, where am I? At the gates of Ironforge. Boy, oh boy. It's probably gonna be easier to go there in spirit form. Can I see my movement speed? I think if I use the command stats misc. Yes. So, if you use the stat misc command, it will show you a bunch of stuff. Actually, the stats command in general can show you a bunch of very interesting information about your character that you may not be able to acquire as accurately anywhere else. So what I'm interested in is the movement speed, which currently is 126%, which I'm not really sure how. I mean, my spirit is 24, so... But I thought it was based on... Well, I thought... I would like to believe that it's based on bonus spirits. I'm not sure why it's 126. Don't remember exactly. I mean, it works fine. I'm sure there's a good valid reason. I think it may be something like 125, like 25% bonus as a human anyway, like just being a spirit form. And probably the extra 1% is like some extra spirit from you being a human, because you get the spirit racial poopy sand thing. Yeah, the human spirit racial. So that may be the reason why. So it's like 25% basic just by being in spirit form, and an extra 1% just because of the human passive. So there you go. Interesting to know. If you're an elf, you move, I think you get a 50% bonus instead of 25% bonus. So, because you move in wisp form. Anyway, I'm back and I revive myself, and the companion will revive himself as well. And he'll just teleport to your location. And the corpses are still there. You should send the companion first to attack. Because... he may have like a couple of more pieces of armor than you do, so that's gonna help him tank a little bit better. And he also brings some sort of consumables like healing potions. So he has healing potions he uses. He actually tried, and I'm kind of sorry that I didn't show you the whole fight, because he bubbled himself and he healed himself, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. We should definitely focus fire as well. Yeah, we just pulled like 1 or 2 more than we should have, and we died. You see, he used bandages on himself, which is pretty cool. He uses bandages when he cannot, when he doesn't have any more consumables or something like that. He has to be below, I think, 50%. Okay. At least we got the quest done, and there's also like a mining thing here I can hit while he's killing the other guy. There's a bunch of copper veins, but it's maybe not worth going after them. I should try to hit as many copper veins as possible, because I would like to do this quest while leveling instead of trying to do it later on. By going around and mining unnecessarily. So as I'm leveling my character, as I'm leveling the profession, I would like to also get the mining pick quest done at the same time. I tried as much as possible, or at least decently, to try to match the quest requirements to your own character progression. And from the feedback I've received, it seemed to be that way to some degree. So I guess I'm going to find out myself. I've never tried doing this before. The last time I leveled up a character is, I don't know, it's been a while at least. So I've definitely made quite a number of changes since then. But it's not the problem. We'll try it out together and we'll see how it goes. Actually, I want to show you something very cool that you can do even from low levels. When you use consumables, your companions will use consumables as well. Earlier, I ate some of these ribs, which gave me stamina and spirit, and I ate 2 of them. You might remember I had 5. And actually, my companion has eaten something as well, right? And what is important to note, now, these ribs only last for 15 minutes. However, when you share your consumable with your companions, they use it infinitely, so long as they stay alive. Now, had I only eaten 1 rib, that would have given him 1 charge of this consumable. So when we died earlier, he actually lost a charge. I ate 2 ribs, so it gave him 2 charges. Now he's lost 1 charge and he's used the other one to keep the buff up. If he were to die again, then he would lose this charge as well. So that's important because I also used one of the spirit scrolls earlier and he lost that. I picked up another one from one of these guys. It just, like, I guess we got lucky and we picked up another spirit one. It doesn't matter which one you get, whatever. Now, when I use this, he's going to use another scroll as well, except that he's going to use one based on an equivalency list that is relevant to his class and role. So I expect him to use sort of like a strength scroll of spirit. Okay. He didn't use the strength scroll of spirit, he used the armor one. These scrolls are tied to level, so they have a level restriction. So if they cannot use like a strength one, then they would just use another one that they actually have access to. In this case, he used the armor one. I'm perfectly okay with that because in tight situations, you saw that I can send him first to take a hit for me because he's got just slightly better armor than I do. Like, he's got some mail parts. That's, yeah, it's better than whatever Puppy send that I do. So that's why I'm saying it's very important that you try to think about consumables as you're leveling up. I still have these ribs, which are fine. Actually, I should use one of them. And now, he's gained basically another charge of ribs, or whatever food he was using. And now, he would have to die twice for him to not use that anymore. So, you should try, if you're gonna use consumables, you should try to keep your companions alive and well and going and all that jazz. Especially later on when we'll be using some alchemy consumables, and once I start leveling my alchemy, we'll do some strength potions and whatever, and you'll see that he's going to use them as well. So very good stuff, and this is not limited only to like food or scrolls, which are great to use, but you can also give them sharpening weapons. So if you sharpen your own weapon, they will sharpen their own weapon as well. If you enchant your gear, they will enchant their gear as well. And if you have multiple companions, you can imagine the stars to add up, right? Each of them using consumables, each of them enchanting their own gear. It starts to make quite a difference, especially when you're fighting rather large packs of mobs as we have. So I highly recommend it. I personally enjoy this. I like to do professions while leveling. I know some people think it's more efficient to do it at high level. Honestly, it may just be, but I'm the sort of person who enjoys roleplay, and I'm a min-maxer, and I like to, you know, do things as I go. You know, you choose your own thing. It's up to you. I only wanted to let you know that this exists, and as I level more professions, I'm sure that I'll remind you, just because I find this system to be very cool, and it's a nice way to give yourself an extra edge in combat where you may need it. I'm like in the previous pool where we died there, I'm not sure if, you know, having 60 armor would make too big of a difference, but it does in fact translate to like 1% physical damage reduction, or I don't know, 1 to 2%. So it's not like a huge deal or anything like that, but it's a non-zero value, which means it exists in the realm of possibilities that at some point this non-zero, albeit small, increase in armor and physical damage reduction is going to be just a thing that prevents you from wiping in some situation. So why not, you know? Why not? I enjoy that sort of thing. I'll let you know. And Bob's your uncle. Alright, so we got into trouble here again. I tried fighting some of these leper gnomes, and it didn't go so well, as you can see. One of the cool parts about the companions is that you can sort of use them as bait. So as you see, I sent my guy in first, and yeah, he took the aggro from a bunch of these guys. I kind of wanted to pull back a little bit, but it didn't come out that way. So here's a very good example of what happens when your companion dies, which is a rather common question you people ask. Well, if I were dead, as you have seen before, I think, if I were dead and I would revive and he was dead as well, then he would revive with me. If you enter some kind of instance, like a dungeon, whatever, then he would revive as well. Now, I'm not dead, I'm clearly alive, and I don't have any instance that I can go into right now, which means he's gonna be there for 5 minutes, and after that he's going to revive himself and he'll just teleport to my location. Now, if you have any reviving capability, you could just revive him and he would accept the revive and he'd be okay. I'm obviously a warrior, so that's not a possibility for me. But what I would like to inform you is that their gear actually does take damage. Now, how do you repair their gear? If you talk to any repairing NPC, then they will automatically repair their own gear. It will not cost you anything at all, except you know, that you actually have to talk to a repairing NPC. So anytime you're in town, you know, you go repair your own gear just instinctively, they'll repair their own gear. If they keep dying, their gear will break, just like yours will. So that's something you should keep in mind and should be aware of, because especially on TPC now that I'm testing, even in the last video on TPC, in the devlog, I died a bunch of times. I mean, I'm kind of stress testing them in a sense, so they die. And I didn't realize, because I forgot about this, I didn't realize that he died so much, or my guys died so much, that their gear was broken. And I didn't understand, like, hey man, why aren't you using their abilities? As I was trying to debug them, yeah, they would not use their abilities. I didn't understand what was going on. And then I reminded myself that, oh yeah, they actually can get their gear broken if they die enough. So just food for thought. You should consider this. Keep that in mind. I should be able to handle a bunch of these mobs on my own. But you see, it's quite a different experience when you play alone, which I would argue that this is one of the strengths of the project, that you play with these companions and they really do make your leveling experience and really everything else much easier and more convenient. Yeah. Yeah, leveling as a warrior is not such a great thing. I've played a lot of warriors in the past on solo, whatever, like normal servers without companions, and it's not pleasant. But, you know, with companions, it definitely is much, much better. But they're not invincible either. Okay, so we fought some level 10 enemies. Didn't go well. He bought the dust, but he actually tried to heal himself, and he did heal himself. He used consumables and all. By consumables, I mean he used healing potions. And yeah, he still died. We couldn't fight the level 10 guys. But he bought me enough time for me to get away from the guys, so I survived. which ultimately is a very nice thing, and I appreciate it. Alright, so while I'm fighting this boar here, my guy revived himself, except that he didn't teleport to me yet. They don't teleport to you while you're in combat, so you should be aware of that. But as soon as I kill this boar over here, he's gonna teleport to me right away. And this is a perfect opportunity, you know, because he died. And remember that I told you that he has charges for his consumables. Now remember on the food he had 2 charges. He died, he lost one, so he still has another charge, so he can buff himself again. However, on the spirit scroll that I used, he used whatever other scroll. Because I only used one, he died, he lost the charge, so he's not gonna use that anymore. So yeah, I'm glad actually that he died, just for science and so I can prove the point that I was making. Remember that I told you at the beginning of the video that it's a good idea to use commands when you're fighting some dangerous enemies or you need something more difficult handled. This is one of those cases because these leper gnomes happen to be rather high level. So it's, yeah, I mean, we died once already here. So it's a bit of a good idea to be careful. So what you can do is you can send your guy in and then you can come stay him back or something like that. So he'll only pull one of these guys at a time. If any of us had a range weapon, it would be nice, but none of us do. So that's fine. But yeah, this is a good opportunity for you to just get a little bit accustomed to using commands. It's not like hard or anything like that. You just send them in, pull them back. That's it. That's all there is to it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated.
On your guard.
Later on, when you have a tank, hopefully with a ranged weapon, so warrior type or maybe a druid who has fairy fire, you can do a pullback, and a pullback would send that tank in to attack the enemy with the ranged weapon, and everybody else who's not a tank would just stay at your location waiting for the tank to return. Once the tank would have the aggro of said target, the tank would return and you'd fight the target at that spot. Yeah, I mean, I'm stuck with a paladin. I'm saying I'm stuck. I don't want to offend the paladin. The paladin is doing a great job. Okay, so we can even tell the paladin, you're doing a great job, Randall. Let's see what he says. Why, thank you, Ashblade. Your kind words are as refreshing as an ice-cold flagon of Ironforge ale. Together, we make quite the formidable duo. Let's keep that momentum rolling and make the Alliance proud again. Hey, there's a chest over here. Nice. It's pretty cool that you can have like short, small interactions with the companions like this. I gotta look into why are they not congratulating you on a level up. I'm a little bit torn about that one. It's just classic, you know. It's classic for someone to give you a GG. And if you don't have friends, like I don't, then yeah, this is the next best thing. Look at that. He's defending me while I'm looting a chest. Thank you very much. Awesome poop. The hardest thing to do is, yeah, figuring out how you're gonna sort your inventory. Yeah. The old dilemma of inventory management. I wish I could have looted that entire chest so it gives it the chance to respawn. But it is what it is, yes? We still need to kill a bunch more of these guys. We can carefully pull them back and forth a little bit. But overall, I gotta say, I mean, the companions, they're just so handy, bruvs. Really, really handy. Just because you can, well, they're rather versatile. And I appreciate that I can loot stuff and gather stuff and open chests and lollygag around while they are taking care of business. I appreciate the fact that I can send them in and I don't have to worry about, you know, too much about their well-being, let's say, in a sense. Well, it's not like I'm indifferent. Of course, I would like for them to not die if possible. But in dangerous situations when you don't know if you can pull through or not, yeah, this sort of thing is good. It's helpful. I mean, having played this game for many years and yeah, for the most of it was just soloing. I understand how many times you get yourself in a bad spot and, you know, you just waste a lot of time going back. I mean, we even wiped twice so far, so I'm not sure if it's really that commendable yet. But yeah. But in a sense, I'm being careless. I mean, I could definitely just be a bit more careful and survive. So it's not like those deaths couldn't be avoided. I think they could have. They could have been. I just didn't try hard enough. I was complacent, so I paid the price for it. Oh well. Live and learn. I'll pay a bit more attention on the next pulls and try not to underestimate the mobs too much. But at the very least, I'm glad we managed to get this quest done. You know what would be cool? If we go back to that circle Popisen, a little small island on that frozen lake and try to kill that wolf that got us the first time. That would be pretty nice. Just to see if we can do it. Might be clutch, I'm not sure. Alright, let's go. Let's see if we can get this done.